Good Monday morning, everybody. I am Angie Callan, host of the No More Mondays podcast, here with a little extra shot of espresso to help you kick off your week with some inspiring and action-filled advice from an amazing guest I'm excited to introduce you all to just in a second. But I want to remind you that we are here to inspire you to have a thriving life with a career or business you love. And so we bring you guests with great inspiration and action items to help you work and live more authentically. And today we are talking about building influence. And we have an expert on this subject joining us. Austin Armstrong is a digital marketer, public speaker, startup founder, and literally social media influencer who has amassed over 3 million followers across his channels. Staggering, especially with my little 15,000 piddly in comparison followers on LinkedIn. It takes a ton of work to create that, which is why I thought it was so important to bring Austin here and tell you how he's built his influence, because now he's using that visibility to help others do just that in their domains. He's leveraging AI and technology and some other really fun, creative approaches to do it. He is here to help your influence. He is here to influence your influence. Man, that was going to be so roll off the tongue, but we're just going to keep going with it and shut me up. Austin Armstrong is here. Austin, welcome to No More Mondays.
Angie, I'm so glad to be here and chat with you again. And real quick, don't say your 15,000 audience is piddly. That's a great number. That's a great thing that you've built. Celebrate every win. I can't even imagine a room full of 3 million people, let alone 15,000. So you've built an amazing audience.
Well, it's really fun. Thank you, one. I cannot even make fun of myself without being called out on it on my own podcast. It's really funny. I saw a graphic. I think this was literally just yesterday. Maybe this was you. That was like, here's what 50 people look like. Here's what 500 people look like. And here's what 10,000 people look like. And it was a stadium. How's that for full circle? And it's funny, even 50 people looks like a lot when you actually see them all standing in a group. So don't ever doubt because even if you make a difference with one, right? Mm-hmm. Man, we just had this entire podcast in 2 hours and 2 minutes and 18 seconds, Austin.
Yeah. I mean, look at the conference scene, for instance, right? Like you might think that speaking at a 50 person conference might not be worth your time, but I challenge that because it might just be 50 of the right people that will make a connection for you, invite you on your podcast, help you with one unlock moment, aha moment that can get you to that next level. And when you're on stage talking to a group, I don't care how many people you've spoken in front of, whether it's 50 or 5,000, it can always be a little intimidating.
So this is fun because this kind of ties into something we were talking about backstage. Austin is another one of the things. So for any of you who've been listening regularly over the last month or two, I'm very fortunate for some of the amazing connections that I made when I went to the thing in Orlando this fall. And it was exactly what Austin just said. It was a room of 50 to 60 highly engaged, highly present people who were ready to learn and connect. And so there's something to be said for the fact that if you're influencing 50 highly engaged, highly motivated people, you're going to end up having more impact than if you're kind of not really impacting a room of 5,000. And so sometimes quality and quantity, there's something to it. And Austin, I'm curious as we talk about this whole, kind of influence thing, as you've built it, what types of doors have you seen it open for you?
Gosh, it's opened everything. It's changed my life. Influence is defined in different ways, right? It's not just having the vanity metric follower count, which I will say does open a lot of doors. I don't care what anybody thinks. Those vanity metrics do absolutely work, assuming that they're earned, right? You're not just like buying followers or whatnot. But influence also comes from experience and expertise and consistency over time and continuing to build trust and rapport and connections with different people. But it has opened wealth, for one. I don't have to, when I go to a restaurant, I don't have to worry if I can afford the meal that I want or not anymore. That it's just like little things like that lifestyle creep that if I really want to just get the lobster that night for dinner. I can get the
Go for
lobster
it.
and not feel bad about it. But it's allowed me to, I don't have to outreach to be on podcasts anymore. For instance, I just speak at conferences, and one person refers me to another podcast guest, or they are connected with me on social and they see me and they reach out. I haven't reached out to be a guest on a podcast in years, and I get to do 5 to 6 podcasts a week typically. And I also just love doing podcasts. It's opened up doors to speak at different conferences, like The Thing, for instance. Terry, shout out to Terry Weaver, who runs The Thing. We were connected online for several years, and he invited me to be a speaker because of my social media presence and influence. And that turned out to be an amazing opportunity. It's allowed me to scale multiple companies and help many different people, both internally as employees and customers, and inspire a lot of other people. I mean, it's opened pretty much every door that I could imagine, and it continues to grow.
Yeah, and probably some you couldn't have imagined, because I think it's also interesting that like influence can end up being can build influence. So there's a point at which it becomes almost exponential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one immediately comes to mind as you said that. I'm teaching a class at Duke University here. I don't even have a college degree, and now I'm teaching master's degree students AI and entrepreneurship because of my influence and because of that consistency and because of growing businesses and having success in that space. Like, that is a mind-blowing door that was opened just recently.
I hope anybody out there who is I've talked to many a job seeker throughout the years who feels very self-conscious about lack of academic credentials and what opportunities it keeps them from having. Austin just debunked and blew up every single one of the myths and limiting beliefs you have applied to what you can and can't do with or without a degree. So, learning opportunity number 1 as we sit down and talk to Austin today. I'm curious about something that's almost the flip side of this. Is it's opened so many doors, but I don't want to go negative, but I kind of want to be real about like, what are some of the downsides or drawbacks? Because it could also take a whole lot of energy to constantly be cultivating connection with 3 million people, even if they're in a digital space. So how have you kind of like balanced that, or, kept that in check over the years?
Yeah, there's a couple things that immediately come to mind. One, let's just call a spade. I'm totally addicted to social media. My average screen time would shock most people.
Well, because I follow you everywhere, and it's you a lot of the time, and I can tell
100%
it's
of the time.
you a lot.
It's only nobody has access to my social media profiles. It's only me. So yeah, I'm on my phone from the moment I wake up till the moment I go to sleep.
I love it that I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. And even in the middle of the night, I'll wake up and, take a minute to just respond to more comments online. So like, I have a socially acceptable addiction that has made me be a productive member of society. And I justify that in different ways, but so that's definitely a downside, right? I already have ADHD. I have short attention spans, and social media doesn't help with that. But I have channeled that into a lot of successful things. The other is just the nature of online with trolls. Now, I've coped with that in my own way. I've been a child of the internet and a child of social media. I got started when I was 14 on MySpace, so I've just developed thick skin for this, and I even troll the trolls, one of my favorite strategies. But you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay, especially when you reach a large amount of people. Guess what? Not everyone's going to agree with you. We're a very diverse world, not even country, right? And so when you make stances or share opinions, people love to assert their egos and their anecdotal evidence from their little echo chamber that they're in online, right? So that is a definitely negative side effect that affects a lot of people differently. I've faced burnout in life too. I was in the agency space for 11 years, and I owned my own agency for a little over 6 years. And I got completely burned out on that. Just really, really to the point that I had to step away from the company. I even ended up shutting down that company. It just brought me so much stress and anxiety, and I was not happy at that at all. And so that, made some life change decisions there. And now I'm ecstatic with where I'm at, but there was periods of times of burnout for sure. So those are a couple of things that come to mind.
Well, and you kind of went there with I think no matter whether you've got 5 or 5 million people in your feeds, at some point, the critical feedback thing comes.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask you about this because as an influencer, we're open. We are out there and we are open. And for me, the troll thing doesn't work for me. So here's a perfect example of I am not a poke the bear content creator.
Yeah.
I have plenty of it in my head, and I know exactly what I could put out there that would garner me tons of followers and tons of engagement, but it stresses me so much. I won't sleep for 3 days, so it isn't worth it. So I am not a troll the troll controversial poster. It just doesn't. I know it could benefit me, but it doesn't work for me. So you also have to know kind of your own boundaries there. But even without being controversial, people all have opinions. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I come across with a lot of the coaches that I work with and I coach is they have this resistance or fear of putting thought leadership out there and building influence in a visible place like digital media, because it feels like they're going to be made fun of. It feels like they're going to be stupid. It feels like they're going to face critical feedback. What do we do about that? Both the feeling and the actual critical feedback. What are some of your thoughts there?
We're our own worst enemies in every single way. And I hate to break it to you, you are going to face that as soon as you get started online. It's natural. You're going to get that in life. You put yourself out there, not just on social media, but if you are a thought leader, you have an obligation to share your information online and help people. I came up through the agency space in marketing for the behavioral health industry, therapists, addiction treatment experts and centers, clinical psychologists. And we took the incredible information from their head and took it into video for social media. Now, with the idea that it would turn into clients for them, and it does. However, just putting that information out there literally saves people's lives. Mm-hmm. You don't know when someone is at the end of their rope and your video pops up at the right time with the right information, saying it in the right way that resonates with them, and you've just helped them step back away from that ledge and face the reality. And same thing with coaches as well. There are so many people that have heard the same information over and over and over again, but they're just looking for that voice that they resonate with.
Yes.
We all learn from someone else, right? But our unique personalities and communication styles resonate with people differently. That is the difference. And so if you are a thought leader, you have to put that information out there. You can, put your best information away for free and sell the specific implementation.
Say that again.
Give your best information away for free. Yes. Sell the implementation.
Yes. Yeah. I know that people really I feel like that might be a rabbit hole to go down. Please finish the current thought, and then we will circle back to that, Austin.
Yeah. I mean, you have to meet people where they're at, right? There's different ways to get your thought leadership out there. There's different ways to get clients. There's outbound, there's ads, there's networking, there's going to conferences, there's public speaking, there's content creation, there's SEO, right? It's just casting that net and sharing your personality online. Video is the number one way to get your personality across online, to make sure that person knows that you are the expert that they can help. And to drive that point in a little bit more, the best marketing advice I ever learned is to give your best information away for free and sell the implementation, because they are going to know, like, and trust you, which I'm sure you've heard on this podcast a million times. Everybody surely knows that at this point, right? It's a
I
cliche.
didn't. For those of you that have been through my business coaching, I did not plant Austin as a mole because I talk lots about KTL.
I mean, it's just a no-brainer, right? They have to, the more that you create content, the more that you're top of mind, the more that they know you. The more of your personality and your expertise that you put out there, the more that they like you. And the more that you show them repeatedly that your processes and information and strategies will help them, and they do it themselves, and they get, micro success, they trust you. And then all of that together is when they reach out to you to hire you or to take things to the next level after consistently showing up over a period of time.
And now you do have to consistently show up more over a longer period of time to get to that point in our good old marketing funnel where they finally move to like consideration and decision after swimming up top in the lead gen and getting the KTL going. So it might take a little longer, but it's having impact. And I want to go back to something that you said when you were talking about the behavioral health content creation. Is such a potent example of what we were talking about when we first came on, and you were chastising me for making fun of my own following in comparison to yours. One, don't compare. There's lesson number 2. But also, if one person is saved or impacted or moves forward because of the thought leadership you put out there, you won and you fulfilled the purpose that you have in this world. And I heard somebody say the following once, and I thought it was so powerful, but you have something to put out there and that someone needs to hear. Who are you to keep it from them?
So good. Absolutely.
It's almost selfish to say, I fear and I feel vulnerable. Well, this isn't about you. We're talking about 3 million followers, but in a way, those 3 million followers came to you, Austin, not because you were focused on getting 3 million followers, but because you were focused on meeting people where they're at, taking them where they want to go, and being authentic and genuine as you did it. And I'm curious how you found that voice.
Reps. Lots of reps.
Trial and error?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried so many honestly, just being myself. Like when you come up and in this space, in digital marketing in particular, like I've studied everybody. I've read all of the best books. I've listened to all of the podcasts. I've seen the best speakers speak. I've bought coaching from a lot of these people. I've put, and you enter that space trying to emulate success. And what ultimately it comes down to is just be your authentic self with the information and experience that you have. And so I did all kinds of funny things. Like I tried to make wooden bow ties my brand for a little bit because I saw people have like cool hats or fun glasses or, whatever. I'm like, I'm going to be the wooden bow tie guy online. That's not me. I don't wear wooden bow ties in life. I just thought that would be an interesting.
Who does?
So I've done so many like weird things to try
like do they feel gimmicky when you tried them?
Yeah. Or like, just like over exaggerate even more than I am in real life. But like my personality that you see in my content is literally me. Like when I'm speaking on stage, that's just me in my everyday life. Like I am a dorky weirdo. And I'm not like that comes across in my content, like my sense of humor. I do weird stuff in my content to crack jokes, and I troll the trolls because that's my sense of humor. And I find that to be funny. And so that, just being your authentic self and paying attention to the data, that's the other reality is like, as you create more content, notice the trends of, okay, this piece of content in this format or this information did exceptionally well or better than my typical content. Let me do a little bit more of that about that. Let me validate that theory a little bit and double down. And I've just kind of done that the whole time is test, until something clicks, and then go deep on that thing until it doesn't really work anymore, and then test until something works, and then go deep in that thing, and then test, and you just kind of continue to go through that cycle.
I can attest to the just say it and just put it out there and think about it less. Because that tends to be when it resonates. You know, I have a similar experience to, here's your, like the my version of your wooden bow tie is that in the career coaching space, specifically on LinkedIn, there are a lot of thought leaders who write these really long form, heavily researched articles with tons of sources and tons of tips. And for some reason, when I put that out there, even though my peers are doing it, wah, 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 put a yes or no poll up about whether do you make your bed in the morning because you're 206 times more likely to be a millionaire if you do, and you get a windfall of response, right? Or me hurling myself down a mountain bike because I'm learning how to ride at 44 years old, right? That's the kind of stuff that for some reason hits. And in a way, it doesn't feel, sometimes I don't feel like, I'm like, what's the value of this to somebody? But clearly they're seeing, and that's where you have to remember, it's not about what you're trying to do. It's how people are kind of receiving it. And if you pay attention to the data, you can kind of start to identify the actual trends versus what you think the trends are. And I think that helps with then identifying the voice, but it starts with just using your voice. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Work your personality in. Yeah.
Go ahead. Which is why videos are great. Although there's an irony in the video thing coming in a second, and you know what it is. But you talked about trends. What are some of the trends you're seeing out there? So, you know, video is a great way to show personality, and we think it's trending, but what's really happening out there in the world of digital media?
So there's all sorts of different formats of content and tent poles of topics. And so I'm in the AI space. And so there's a constant new cycle happening in that space in particular, right? I just happen to be in a fast-paced market right now that's speeding up. It's not slowing down. That was a strategic pivot pretty early. I got involved in AI. But there's constant new things for me to talk about. So like you can be the news. There's different ways to, let me go on a little tangent here. There's different ways that you can create content, right? You can be educational, you can be entertaining, you can be the source of news. You can react to things and give your 2 cents. There's all of these different formats of content. I combine entertainment with education. So like edutainment content. A lot of my stuff, my videos in particular are breaking news or like really cool new websites, but I work in like little skits into it that are corny. I just finished a video right before we got on this. But I'm also able to break news. So there's always news stories that come out. And I share that news and actionable takeaways and tutorials on that. And you can ride that wave in pretty much every industry. Unless it's like a really archaic industry. Like if you're a content creator in like construction, like I don't know how much news there's going to be. Yeah.
We have a new nail, folks.
Yeah. Right. Like breaking news, there's AI tractors now. Like, I don't know. Most industries, I think you can just like type it in on Google and click on the news tab and like you'll find new content that way. As far as like formats of content, video is still crushing it. I highly recommend short form videos. That's been the thing for 4 or 5 years now since TikTok came on the scene. That's not really going anywhere. I've had a lot of success with text threads, which is like going back to the beginning, but that's of online, but that's where I'm seeing a lot of success. On Facebook in particular, which is my top platform, which is very interesting, but it's where I get the most engagement.
You know what I find interesting about that? Email marketing, at least for us, is still where it's at. And I almost wonder if because feeds are so overwhelming and also stuffed with curated versus like actual user content. If email and messaging, going back a decade to email and like texting, is a better way to get direct to it because people know it's from us.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, email for me is very exciting right now. There's like a new platform, Beehive, that I'm just so bullish on right now. It's amazing what they're doing for creators. But it's performing, newsletters are still performing very well. Automated email marketing. I mean, these text threads, like I'm not super big on X, but I have a lot of followers on Threads, Instagram's X clone, and works very well on there.
We got Blue Sky coming on the scene.
We got Blue Sky blowing up. I think people just like different styles of content, right? Some people like video, some people like audio, some people like long form video, some people like short form video, some people like to read, some people just want images, for carousels. Like there's all sorts of different ways that we learn and retain information. Yeah.
And I think that ties back to also you're validating so much about what I teach and train people, because I also talk about the educate, entertain, enrich, or engage, like the 4 types of content, and that the way that they merge, right? Like, so you can always be entertaining but also enrich or educate. And if you give people content in various ways, it can appeal to a larger, a more diverse audience because of the different adult learning styles that people have. And I would, I bet if we looked into the psychology of it, we tend to consume the content that aligns with our learning style. And so knowing that about your audience is also very, very helpful.
Yeah, you can really have compounded success from combining education and entertainment. This is what happened to me. For instance, there's I share a lot of useful websites and digital marketing tips and AI tools and whatnot. And there's always been a lot of content like, hey, check out this website. It does X, Y, and Z. And there's always been sketches that are entertaining online. And I'm not the first person to create sketches in a way where I'm talking to myself and communicating valuable information, nor am I the first person to share a useful website. But on TikTok, I was probably one of the first people to combine those two that are 2 relatable pieces of delivery and content remixed into something new that was really fresh. And so it's relatable, but it's also really fresh. And now you're separating from the noise, and you're separating yourself from the pack and doing something fresh. And that's literally the video that I just made, is like, again, like doing that. Now that style is kind of saturated. So I'm trying to reinvent other things, because when you have a lot of success, then everybody else starts to catch up and do that too. And until it becomes saturated. But find in any niche, like find the gaps in the content, find the delivery of information that is performing well, and maybe another style of delivery that you feel comfortable doing that has not been pulled over into your specific industry, and test merging them to create something fresh and new.
This is cool. And you just queued up exactly one of the things I wanted to talk about, which is essentially something you did create. Like, you merged memes and video in a way, if we think about it, with faceless video. So here we go. And this is where I to bridge the gap into this. And I promised I was going to challenge you on this, is, if we talk so much about building authenticity through video because people can see us, now you're specializing in this kind of like faceless video thing. Walk us through that. Walk us through that connection. And then I want to hear more about the faceless video world.
Okay. So the reality is that even though we're giving everybody on this podcast so much information to get out of your own way, create the content, you have an obligation to create that content, there is still going to be a percentage of people that say, I can't do it. I'm not going to press record. I can't get myself on camera. I don't like it. I don't like how I look. I'm in a regulated industry where I'm not allowed to be on camera.
Very
All
good
of
point.
these reasons. Video and social media has changed my life personally, and I don't want anyone to have an excuse to not get their idea, their message, their vision out there as a content creator. And faceless videos are a perfect way to do that, where you can create content that hits these algorithms in a way that they are pushing, without you needing to be on camera. And so what a faceless video is, as the name implies, it's a video without a face, less face. And there's different ways that you can create faceless videos, B-roll style. So shots of oceans moving or people shaking hands and, dogs running, like whatever your video is about, like highly stylized B-roll footage. There's also AI generated faceless videos, which is something that my company Syllabi specializes in, which basically you have your script and then it reads that script and it generates unique images based on that script and whatever art style that you choose. So it's 100% unique every single time, and it stitches everything together into a perfect video with subtitles and background music and an AI voice. You can have your own voice in there if you want. And then you can animate those clips as well. So the AI images are actually moving. And this helps a lot of people. I mean, every single day, we have a pretty big Syllabi community on Facebook called Syllabi Content Creators. I think we've got like 23,000 members in there now.
It's very active.
It's very active. We've built an absolutely incredible community in there of people supporting one another. But these are people that have never created a piece of content in their life. They have never recorded a video, and we're showing them how they can create content. They can grow on these social media platforms. They can learn affiliate marketing, things that were completely inaccessible from them before because they couldn't get out of their own way is now accessible to them. And that's my mission, is to actually help people wherever they're at.
So I just got excited as you were kind of, even before you said that was your mission, I'm sitting here thinking, one, you've answered that question before of how do we get from the authenticity to the faceless video, but it feels so intentional. It's not just, oh, there was no product out there that could do this kind of technology. It was actually created with a segment of people in mind to enable them to get into a type of content creation that they otherwise have a barrier to. Because I've had plenty of coaches who will look at me and they'll say, do I need to be doing video? And I'm like, well, do you like it? And are you good at it? And they're like, no, it takes a ton of my energy. And then I don't do it, right? Because it's not going to convert. It's not going to resonate if it's taking a ton of energy. And so this not only filled a void from a market perspective, but from a need of a content creator. And I love the intentionality behind that. And I think it's such a cool way to look at how technology can actually have a positive impact.
Yeah, thank you. And I also want to be clear that it's not just a faceless video tool. I wanted to create the best video marketing tool possible from A to Z. Yeah. And so just a quick overview, we show you topic ideas. So if you don't know what topics to create, you can find trending data in your industry. It will write video scripts for you, or you can enter in your own video script. You can customize the AI however you want. And you can create videos however you want. You can create these faceless videos. You can do the B-roll style of video. You can upload an audio file now. So you can upload a podcast episode or a song or a voice note memo recording, and it'll create a video from that. You can do a URL. So you can take one of your blog articles and turn that into a video. We have AI avatars. So if you're like, I just don't want to record, but I'm okay having my face on camera, you can create a real clone of yourself, which moves like you, talks like you, sounds like you. Or we have a video editor. So you can literally record yourself reading the script or however you want and upload that into our editor and edit the video to however you'd like. And then you can schedule and publish it. So you can connect all of your social media pages and you can optimize all of them. It even generates YouTube thumbnails for you. We brought in a YouTube expert. Shout out to Jeremy Vest to really train our team with everything. And we have his best practices for thumbnail generation, but everything is optimized. And then you can schedule, publish, and even track your analytics in syllabi as well. So it's really that A to Z workflow. And I don't want any limitations. So if you're like, I don't like faceless videos, fine, use an avatar or create the video yourself. However you want to create videos. I'm literally like, I have worked in the agency space for 11 years. I've worked with thousands of content creators, business owners, entrepreneurs. I'm trying to just eliminate every excuse to just not be active on video.
I was just sitting here thinking, it's like it is the ultimate enablement tool, because it really is. It is removing every possible excuse you could have for not being on video. And we know how popular and how, if you're going to be out there, and video in whatever form is kind of a critical, isn't going anywhere component to building influence online. And so it kind of brings this whole full circle aspect. And even just looking at you and your experience, Austin, of building an influence, seeing an opportunity, but also a way to serve in a way to then help others build influence, which is exactly why I thought this could be such an interesting conversation to kind of inspire people out there to do this on your terms and in a way that's authentic, because that's how it's going to feel best. And that's how it's going to hit best. And we should give everybody a spoiler alert, because there's one more way you're bringing this all to everybody, and it's happening this fall in a little place called Dallas. So tell everybody about it.
Yes. So both Angie and I are speaking at my conference called AI Marketing World. It's aimarketingworld.co. I've assembled the best AI marketing experts in the world to Dallas, Texas, October 9th through the 11th of 2025. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an interactive experience as well. It's not just going to be a talking head style conference where we talk at you for 3 days. It's going to be a very immersive experience. I'm looking at bringing in different hardware and AI techs that we can like play around with. I'm planning on doing a pitch competition throughout as well. For AI MarTech startups. So there's going to be a bunch of new AI marketing companies that are pitching, and there's going to be audience participation to vote on who they think will win. And I have big, hairy, audacious goals, big BHAG.
They're the best kind.
Yes. For this conference, we really want it to be I'm a go big or go home kind of guy. I partnered with Scott Simpson on this, who's the owner of Video Marketing World. We rebranded that existing conference into AI Marketing World. This is not going to be a 50-person conference. This is going to be a 500, 750. We're hoping for 1,000 people conference. We're going big with this thing. We've got some big sponsors already. We're pumping money into this thing. We brought the best speakers. This is going to be a big deal, and tickets are discounted and on sale right now.
Yeah, aimarketingworld.co. And somehow, y'all, I'm included in this mess.
You deserve to be on that stage.
I'm so excited to do this. You just got me more excited. And I bought in the minute Austin even said he was doing it. I was like, oh, can I come talk about how to be a human in AI? So I get to be the human component. Yeah, it's important to make sure you have that grounding, as AI just increasingly becomes more present, but also more leverageable as a tool we all have. So I'm super, super excited about it. So buy your tickets now and come give Austin and I a hug in real life.
It's going to be great. And we're also, if you want to support this podcast and support Angie, I'm sure she has an affiliate link in the description of this episode.
I'm sure I do.
We'll get that set up. So
yes, we will. We'll add that to the show notes and to chat here. And if any of y'all have questions about it, Austin and I are happy to answer. But it's going to be a fun time and an educational time. So there we go. On brand, education and entertainment at the same time. Austin, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for joining me today, but also everything you are doing to help people put the influence that they're meant to put out into this world. And I'm wondering if you would love to give everybody one last little piece of wisdom to leave them with this week.
Perfectionism is procrastination. Just post the damn thing.
Yeah. Oh man, now I want to start a whole new conversation. I've been talking a lot about how perfectionism is at the expense of progress. Think about it less and put it out there. Absolutely. The world needs to hear it. just
Yes.
like Austin is doing. Thank you so much for inspiring and supporting and influencing. This has been a fantastic conversation. I can't wait to see you again in a few months. Everybody out there, 1, thank you for listening. And 2, go put your influence out there into the world right now. Do it. Rip off the Band-Aid. We'll see you next week for another edition of No More Mondays podcast.